Hey, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and today we're going to discuss what I hear a lot from our customers is, what do you recommend when it comes to battery storage? And some general idea of what stuff, how it works. So stay with us. So one of the biggest questions that we have when it comes to customers, when it comes to their batteries, whether it be their lawnmowers, tractors and so forth, is what's the best way for me to store it? And then you have to, not only the best way to store it, but the most economical way to store it. Okay, so if it were me, I would recommend, I think they're less than 10 bucks right now. Harbor Freight has got a battery maintainer. You can hook up to the positive and negative, and then you have a power source where you have to plug it into 110 outlet. That will maintain that battery so that it doesn't get low enough to break, crack, and be a throwaway. But in saying that, we have to know there's a difference between a battery maintainer and a battery charger. A battery charger takes a battery that's weak, and it may be the charging system wasn't working right on the lawnmower or what have you, and you put the battery charger on it, it will bring the charge back up to full charge. Whereas a maintainer is more based on, it's a trickle charge, but they want to maintain the battery at the level that you attached it with. Where you plugged it in, it'll try to maintain that. So what I recommend is you make sure your battery is fully charged, and that might be using a battery charger on it for half an hour, 45 minutes, whatever it takes to bring it up, and then unhooking that and then plugging the maintainer in. Now there's a couple different ways that I've seen people do it, and that is they will go out once a month and start that unit. And it could be a tractor, riding lawnmower, classic car, skid steers. I mean, we have a maintainer on our skid steer, and we use it all winter long. But it sits in a cold area, an outbuilding, and it needs glow plugs and a good crank to start. So we just plug the maintainer in when we're not using it to keep that battery fully charged. So we've had customers, we've even tried it ourselves, instead of having the battery maintainer on it, what about taking the battery out of the lawnmower or the vehicle you're working on and bringing it in where it's warm? That's not a bad idea either. You could take and bring it in where it's warm and put a maintainer on it. We've had 6 batteries in series hooked to one maintainer to keep them all charged. Because what ends up happening is it gets colder out. Even though you're not starting and running that unit with the battery is going to get weaker. And if it gets down to such a point of where it's really weak, then the internal fluids, the acid and stuff, will freeze and burst. It's happened numerous times that I know of. But we've had guys that will go out once a month and start their units and let it run for a little bit, shut it off with no maintainer left in the machine, and they've had good luck. We've used the battery maintainers here in the shop and on certain equipment, especially like the Harleys. We always put the maintainers on them. That worked for us. Taking the battery out of the unit and bringing it in where it's warm, That can't hurt either, and having a maintainer on it. But the key thing to remember when you're shopping and stuff is that what you're looking for is a battery maintainer versus a battery charger. A charger has to bring the battery up to full charge. A maintainer is going to grab it wherever that charging point is, and that's where it's going to maintain it. So before you put a battery maintainer on something, you want to make sure that that battery is fully charged. And the only way to do that is by using a battery charger and bringing it up to so you know that it's full charge. Or plugging in that maintainer after running it a while, making sure that your charging system is charging the battery. That's a big plus too. You know, if it's not charging, it's going to drain that battery. So you want to make sure, if you're going to use a maintainer, that your battery is 3/4 if not fully charged, and that's where it'll hold it at. Battery charger charges. Maintainer just maintains where it's at. So I hope that's kind of answered some of your questions on it. You can do a little bit of each. Let me know what you think in the comments, and what kind of luck you've had with doing certain things with battery storage. All right.